solar wolves hunting, shepherd the flock. Elena's blood runs cold. The code phrase hadn't been used since the Centauri border incident. She glances at the celebrating children, their laughter echoing through the garden dome, then back at Talana, whose compound eyes reveal nothing. "Excuse me, Ambassador. Station business." Elena moves swiftly through the crowd, sending a series of coded commands through her neural implant. The orphanage's security center buzzes with activity when she arrives. Lieutenant Kavita Sharma, her second in command, displays multiple holographic feeds showing the approaching diplomatic vessels. 3 ships requested emergency docking 5 minutes ago, Kavita reports. Vox, Scythe, and Marin, historical enemies suddenly traveling together. Their credentials check out, but nothing about this feels right, Elena finishes. What's happening beyond the detection grid? Kavita hesitates. We're not authorized to scan that far. Concord regulations? Override. Authorization Reyes Alpha 7. Pull data from the deep space relay. The display shifts, revealing what Elena feared, a formation of warships holding position just beyond Saturn's orbit, running dark. Waiting. Ma'am, the Concord liaison is demanding we grant immediate docking privileges to the diplomatic vessels. They're citing Section 12 of the Sanctuary Protocols. Elena makes her decision. Initiate silent evacuation protocols. Priority 1 children. First, those from endangered species with no surviving homeworlds. Kavita's eyes widen. That's over 2,000 children. The Concord isn't here. We are. Elena pulls up the station schematic. Activate emergency deployment for all caretakers. Combat veterans to forward sections. Throughout the station, discrete signals alert human staff. Parents visiting their adopted alien children receive priority evacuation notices. Off-duty security personnel find their lockers unlocking automatically, revealing weapons that officially don't exist. Elena steps into her office, pressing her palm against a hidden scanner. A wall panel slides away, revealing a combat suit she had hoped never to wear again. Its matte black surface absorbs light, neural interfaces glowing faintly along the spine. As she seals the suit around her body, old memories surface. Planetary invasions, orbital drops into hostile territory, the faces of friends lost to weapons that disintegrated flesh and bone. Commander? Kavita's voice pulls her back. Ambassador Talana is demanding an explanation for the evacuation alarms. Tell her it's a drill. Elena checks the suit's weapon systems, non-lethal by default, but with lethal options if necessary. And Kavita? If anything happens to me, the emergency protocols are in your hands. The children come first. Always. In the garden dome, a young human caretaker named Marcus kneels beside an anxious Vox child whose crystalline form flickers with stress patterns. It's just a drill, Kirixa, he soothes, helping the child into an evacuation harness. Like we practiced. The adults are afraid, Kirixa whispers, facets reflecting Marcus's concerned expression multiple times. I can see it in their light. Patterns. Marcus forces a smile. We just want to keep you safe. That's what humans do. Across the orphanage, similar scenes unfold. Human caretakers preparing children of dozens of species for an evacuation they hope is unnecessary. In the medical bay, Dr. Lena Okafor, Amara's younger sister, loads critical genetic samples from endangered species into portable containment units. Outside, the diplomatic vessels approach docking ports across 6 different sections. Their transponders broadcast friendly identifications, but their approach vectors are too precise, too coordinated. Elena steps onto the command deck, her combat suit drawing shocked stares from civilian staff. 30 seconds to docking, reports the traffic controller. Elena takes a deep breath watching the approaching ships. May whatever gods they believe in forgive them, she whispers, because we won't. Darkness, then pain. Elena gasps awake in the void, her combat suit automatically sealing punctures from debris. Emergency oxygen floods her helmet as the suit's medical systems assess her injuries. 3 broken ribs, shoulder dislocation, severe concussion. Her augmented eyes adjust, revealing the catastrophe unfolding around her. The orphanage's central dome is gone. Fragments of the once proud station spin through space, trailing frozen atmosphere that glitters like diamond dust in the unfiltered sunlight. Some sections remain intact, emergency force fields containing atmosphere where children might still live. Status report, she croaks, her voice triggering the suit's communication system. Nothing. Then, a burst of static followed by multiple distress calls overlapping each other. She focuses her augmented hearing, filtering through the chaos. Breach. In Sector 4, hostiles in the medical wing. Evacuation pods launched, but they're targeting. A flash of movement catches her eye. 20 kilometers away, Earth's orbital defense platforms remain immobile, their weapons powered down. Diplomatic vessels, some genuine, others coalition warships with false transponders, hold position between the platforms and the disintegrating Orphanage, using the surviving station sections as shields. Elena activates her suit's propulsion system, maneuvering toward a nearby cluster of escape pods. The neural interface shows her biosigns deteriorating. Internal bleeding, oxygen levels dropping. She ignores the warnings, pushing the suit beyond safety parameters. The nearest pod contains 6 children, a human girl clutching a Marin infant's containment bubble, 3 young Scythe huddled together, and a Vox adolescent whose crystalline form has partially shattered. Their terrified faces press against the viewport as Elena approaches. Her suit's external communication system activates automatically. "It's Commander Reyes. I'm going to get you to safety." Coalition interceptors suddenly vector toward the cluster of pods, weapons charging. Elena positions herself between them and the children, knowing her suit's defenses are insufficient against military-grade weapons. "This is Commander Elena Reyes of Earth Orphanage Security," she broadcasts on all frequencies. "These pods contain children. Stand down immediately." The lead interceptor responds with a burst of disruptor fire that tears through her suit's shield. Pain explodes across Elena's back as the suit's exoskeleton takes the impact, absorbing energy meant for the pod behind her. Her vision blurs, but she maintains position, manually rerouting power from life support to the shield emitters. "Is this what your civilizations have become?" she broadcasts. "Murderers of children?" The Vox commander's response chills her blood. "The young of dangerous species must be contained before they mature. We regret the necessity." Elena watches in horror as more interceptors target other pod clusters. Across the battlefield, civilian vessels, freighters, pleasure yachts, mining ships move to intercept, placing themselves between coalition forces and escape pods. Ordinary humans volunteering as shields. A massive agricultural vessel positions itself before a dozen pods, taking fire meant for the children. Its captain's voice breaks through on the emergency channel. "Get them home, Commander. Whatever it takes." The vessel explodes, but not before its sacrifice allows several pods to reach the safety of Earth's atmosphere. Elena's suit warns of critical system failure. Oxygen reserves at 17%. Power fluctuating, with her remaining strength. She enters override commands, transferring her suit's last energy reserves to the pod's propulsion system. "Earth Security Command," she transmits, voice weakening. "Children incoming. Coalition vessels using diplomatic shields. They're targeting." Her transmission cuts off as consciousness fades. The last thing she sees is Earth growing larger in her visor, blue and beautiful, as the children's pod accelerates toward safety while she drifts into darkness. Behind her, the remaining sections of the orphanage burn. Dr. Amara Okafor's fingers tremble above the activation panel. The Martian facility, vast chambers hewn from polar ice and bedrock, hums with potential energy as centuries-old systems awaken. Around her, engineers and scientists who have lived double lives for decades wait in silence. The third authorization code requires her genetic signature, retinal scan, and spoken confirmation. A safeguard demanded by the original architects of Project Phoenix. No weapon could be unleashed without human conscience behind it. Dr. Okafor. The facility's AI interface speaks in a calm voice. "Final authorization required." Timer protocols. Active. On her screens, tactical displays show coalition forces spreading through the solar system. Earth's orbital defenses remain paralyzed by conquered diplomatic protocols and the human shields taken from the Orphanage. Colony worlds report similar patterns. Coalition forces exploiting humanity's unwillingness to fire on civilian vessels. System is awaiting your authorization, Doctor, reminds her chief engineer, a woman whose public identity is a hydroponics specialist, but who holds 7 classified patents on weapons systems. Okafor looks at her team. We swore we'd never use these systems except in humanity's darkest hour. Are we certain this qualifies? Her question is answered by new footage transmitted from a rescue vessel near the Orphanage debris field, a human medical ship broadcasting its civilian status and mission. Coalition interceptors targeted anyway, disruptor beams cutting through the hull. The last transmission shows a human doctor covering alien children with his own body as atmosphere vents. They're not just attacking our military, Okafor whispers. They're eliminating our capacity to protect others. She places her palm on the scanner. Authorization, Okafor, Amara E code phrase, remember Thermopylae. The chamber walls retract, revealing dozens of manufacturing bays where dormant fabrication systems begin assembling weapons designed but never built. Throughout the solar system, similar facilities activate, orbital platforms shedding their disguises, defense grids powering up beneath colony cities, shipyards emerging from gas giant atmospheres. How long have we maintained these systems? Asks a junior engineer watching in awe. Since before first contact, Okafor answers. Every generation has asked the same question. Can we truly trust alien civilizations with humanity's future? Every generation has given the same answer. Hope for peace, prepare for war. Her communication implant chimes with an incoming priority message. Elena Reyes, barely alive, recovered from space near a children's escape pod. Emergency medical intervention successful, reports the field surgeon. But she suffered extensive radiation damage from unshielded exposure. Her combat suit sacrificed itself to save the children. Okafor's eyes fill with tears. My sister is at the Orphanage medical bay. Any word from her? I'm sorry, Doctor. That section was specifically targeted in the first wave. On her primary display, the Lazarus protocol completes its initialization sequence. Throughout human space, communications networks transition to quantum encrypted channels that no known alien technology can breach. Dormant defense AIs activate, analyzing centuries of simulated combat data against coalition species. Time remaining until full system activation. 3 minutes, announces the facility AI. All personnel should prepare for potential hostile response. Okafor squares her shoulders, wiping away tears. Send word to Admiral Chen. Phoenix Rising is authorized. She looks at the gathered team, scientists and engineers who have hidden their true work from family and friends for decades. Humanity has extended its hand in peace for 300 years, she tells them, voice steady despite her grief. Now we show them what happens when that hand becomes a fist. Across the solar system, humanity prepares for war. Admiral Chen's dreadnought Retribution emerges from Jupiter's shadow, its adaptive hull absorbing rather than reflecting light. Across the vast Jovian orbital plane, 200 similar vessels decloak in perfect formation. The Phoenix Fleet, theoretically designed and never built according to official records. On the bridge, Chen observes tactical displays showing coalition forces establishing orbital dominance around Earth. His expression remains impassive, though his neural implant registers elevated stress markers. Status of evacuation fleet? He asks his executive officer. Commander Reyes's civilian vessels have recovered approximately 60% of launched escape pods, reports Commander Takahashi. Coalition forces are still targeting civilian ships. 17 rescue vessels destroyed in the last hour. Chen's jaw tightens. And Earth's orbital defenses? Still neutralized by conquered protocols. Defense station commanders are requesting override authorization. Not yet. Chen studies the coalition's formation. They're expecting us to prioritize Earth, to react emotionally. He inputs commands directly through his neural interface, transmitting battle plans developed through centuries of simulation. The Phoenix Fleet divides into 3 battle groups, each targeting a different segment of the coalition forces. All vessels execute Formation Hydra. Primary targets are coalition warships. Avoid diplomatic vessels until we can confirm they're not holding hostages. His voice remains calm, though everyone on the bridge knows what the order means. Humanity's first offensive military action against alien civilizations in 3 centuries. Sir? Takahashi hesitates. Some of those warships have alien civilians aboard, families of military personnel. I'm aware. Chen's expression doesn't change. Deploy boarding teams with Valkyrie protocols. No alien civilians are to be harmed. But any coalition military personnel who resist... He doesn't finish the sentence. Throughout the fleet, specialized compartments open, revealing combat units unlike anything seen in official human military forces. Soldiers in powered armor designed, specifically to counter each coalition species' natural advantages. Weapons calibrated to disable crystalline Vox without shattering them, neutralize scythe nervous systems without permanent damage, and contain gaseous marin without dissipation. Attention all Phoenix vessels. Chen broadcasts fleet-wide. The coalition believes they understand humanity's nature. They believe we're either peace-loving idealists or barely restrained savages. Today, we show them our true nature. The battlecruiser's main view screen shows a civilian medical transport under attack by coalition interceptors. The smaller vessel's shields fail as it maneuvers to protect a cluster of escape pods. Retribution to medical transport Mercy. Chen transmits. We have you covered. Continue your evacuation mission. The dreadnought accelerates. Its main weapons, technology never shared with the Galactic Concord, locking onto the coalition interceptors. The energy signatures confuse alien sensors, registering as communications equipment until milliseconds before firing. 3 interceptors vaporize instantly. The rest scatter in confusion as targeting systems they never knew existed lock on to their ships. Across the solar system, the pattern repeats as humanity's hidden fleet reveals itself. Colony worlds previously thought defended only by token forces deploy planetary shields. Asteroid mining facilities transform into weapon platforms. Atmospheric research stations on gas giants disgorge swarms of autonomous defense drones. On Elena's salvaged command ship, now safely within the Phoenix fleet's defensive perimeter, the rescued orphans watch in awe through viewport as human vessels move in formations their species had never encountered. They hid all this? Asks a young Vox child. Crystal facets reflecting the battle unfolding outside. The human medic tending Elena's life support system nods. We hoped never to need it. Then why build it? The medic's eyes reflect the flashes of weapons fire. Because hope without preparation is just wishful thinking. Elena, consciousness flickering between darkness and light, hears the exchange. Her neural implants register the Phoenix fleet's deployment patterns, recognizing contingency plans she had studied decades ago, but never expected to see implemented. Admiral, she whispers, though Chen cannot hear her. Save the children, whatever it takes. Captain Maya Santos floats silently through the maintenance shaft of the Coalition flagship, her adaptive camouflage rendering her nearly invisible. 11 other shadow operatives move through different sections of the massive vessel, each tasked with locating and extracting orphaned children. Santos's neural implant maps the ship's interior from intercepted data packets. The Vox-designed vessel uses crystalline computing pathways that human intelligence had been studying for decades, developing counters never shared with the Galactic Concord. Command center located, she subvocalizes to her team. Life sign readings confirm multiple juvenile patterns. She pauses at an intersection, enhanced senses detecting subtle vibrations through the bulkhead. Her augmented vision shifts spectrums, revealing what appears to be a laboratory beyond the wall. Inside, orphaned, children float in suspension tanks, neural probes extending from their bodies to central processing units. Confirmation on target location, she reports, proceeding with Phase 2. Throughout the vessel, her team simultaneously releases nanite clusters from specialized compartments in their armor. The microscopic machines navigate through ventilation, systems and power conduits, reprogramming security sensors. Santos waits for the signal, 3 pulses through her tactical neural link indicating the security system has been compromised. When it comes, she moves with inhuman speed, cutting through the bulkhead with a molecular blade designed to slice through Vox crystalline structures. Inside the laboratory, 3 Vox scientists turn in alarm, their faceted bodies refracting light, in patterns indicating surprise. Santos doesn't hesitate. Non-lethal stun pulses calibrated precisely to Vox neurological systems incapacitate them before they can trigger alarms. The children, 5 Vox, 3 human, and 2 Marin in specialized containment fields, hang suspended in amber-colored fluid. Neural probes connect directly to their brains, feeding their fear and pain into the ship's broadcast systems. This is Shadow 1, Santos transmits to Admiral Chen. Targets located. Beginning extraction. And sir. She pauses, struggling to maintain her professional tone. They're using them as biological transmitters, broadcasting their fear across all frequencies. Chen's voice is cold when he responds. Understood. Extraction team. Switch to Sunflower Protocol. Additional time granted for evidence collection. Santos approaches the first tank, a Vox child, whose crystalline form shows multiple fracture patterns. Her suit's medical sensors indicate the child remains conscious despite the drugs pumping through the tank. I'm taking you home, she whispers, carefully disengaging neural probes. As her team works to free the children, Santos's secondary operatives infiltrate the flagship's command center, downloading the vessel's database. What they find confirms humanity's worst fears. Detailed plans for human containment dating back to first contact, strategies for exploiting human psychological weaknesses, and coalition consensus that the Orphanage had become too effective at generating galactic goodwill toward humanity. Data extraction complete, reports her intelligence officer. Sir, you need to see this. They've been planning this for centuries. Santos continues freeing children while reviewing the transmitted files. The scope of the conspiracy stuns her, not merely the 3 coalition species, but tacit approval from 7 Concord members, including species humans had considered allies. Alarms suddenly blare through the flagship as their intrusion is detected. Elite Scythe guards converge on the laboratory, their chitinous exoskeletons enhanced with combat stimulants. Extraction team status? Santos demands. 8 children secured, preparations for transport underway, responds her medical officer. But the last 2 tanks have additional security measures. We need 3 more minutes. Santos positions herself between the approaching guards and the remaining children. Her adaptive camouflage deactivates as she draws twin plasma blades, weapons designed specifically to counter Scythe natural armor. Then I'll give you 3 minutes, she says, stance, shifting to combat mode as her augmentations flood her system with battle enhancers. Get those children to safety, whatever it takes. The first wave of Scythe guards rounds the corner, mandibles clicking in challenge. Santos moves to meet them, humanity's protective fury personified. For the Orphanage, she whispers, and attacks. The Galactic Concord delegation's shuttle descends through Earth's atmosphere, escorted by human fighters whose weapons capabilities remain locked on target. The delegation, representatives from 12 supposedly neutral species, had expected to meet with human officials in their public diplomatic center in Geneva. Instead, their shuttle diverts to a destination absent from all official records, a vast underground complex beneath the Atacama Desert. As they disembark, the alien representatives find themselves surrounded by technology that, according to all shared databases, humanity should not possess. Welcome to Truth Point, Admiral, Chen says, standing beside Dr. Okafor and a holographic projection of Elena Reyes, whose physical body remains in medical stasis. The headquarters of what you might call humanity's shadow government. The Concord ambassador, a being of pure energy contained within an environmental suit, speaks first. This facility violates 17 different articles of the technology, sharing accords. Fascinating objection, Chen replies coldly. Given that we've just discovered your complicity in genocide, the chamber's walls transform into display screens showing footage from Captain Santos's mission, children wired into broadcasting systems, coalition ships firing on medical transports, and most damning of all, communications between conquered officials authorizing the necessary correction of human influence. These are clearly fabrications, insists the Marin representative, its gaseous form swirling with agitation patterns. The coalition acted independently. Elena's hologram steps forward. Though her physical body lies in stasis, her consciousness operates through neural interface. These children would disagree. The doors open to reveal survivors from the orphanage, children of 30 different species, including those of the Concord representatives present. A young Vox child steps forward, crystal body still bearing fracture patterns from the attack. I am Kirixa, third-generation orphan from the Vega conflict, the child announces. I watched humans die to protect me. They placed their bodies between us and weapons fire. They gave us their emergency oxygen when our systems failed. The child extends a crystalline limb, interfacing directly with the chamber's systems. Raw sensory data floods the room. Memories from the attack experienced directly through the child's neural patterns. The Concord representatives physically recoil as the emotional impact washes over them. This is what you authorized, Elena says quietly. Not a military strike against an adversary, the slaughter of children and those who protected them. Dr. Okafor activates a secondary display showing the coalition flagship's database, the unaltered files extracted by Santos's team. The Violent Species Oversight Protocol was established 3 days after humanity's first contact, before you knew anything about us except that we had survived our own violent history. The records reveal centuries of manipulation, economic sanctions disguised as trade agreements, technological restrictions hidden within safety protocols, and most disturbing, genetic monitoring programs designed to track human evolutionary patterns for signs of increasing aggression. You feared us because we reminded you of yourselves, Chen says, of what you were before you sanitized your own histories. The Zellan ambassador, an arthropoid species known for philosophical directness, clicks its mandibles thoughtfully. Your species maintained military readiness while appearing to embrace peace. This deception justifies our caution. Elena's hologram approaches the Zellan directly. We built weapons we prayed never to use. We maintained defenses while working for peace, but we never, her voice breaks, never used children as living shields or psychological weapons. A small figure pushes through the gathered orphans, a Sith child no more than 5 years old by human standards. It approaches the Sith ambassador, extending its immature forelimbs in the species' traditional greeting to elders. The ambassador instinctively responds with the ritual acceptance gesture, then freezes as the child speaks in perfect Scythe dialect. The humans taught me our traditions when no one else would. They said I should be proud of my heritage even when my own people abandoned me. Throughout the chamber, similar scenes unfold as orphaned children approach representatives of their own species. Each interaction drives home the same devastating truth. Humanity had done more to preserve their cultural heritage than their own civilizations. The question, Elena says quietly, is not whether our entire species is dangerous. It's whether yours are worthy of the galaxy you claim to govern. The Coalition Doomsday Fleet emerges from slipspace at the edge of the Martian orbit, 15 planet-killer vessels arrayed in attack formation. Their weapons, graviton collapse generators capable of crushing a planetary core, begin charging. Sequences. In the Mars Colony Central Command, warnings blare as evacuation protocols activate automatically. Millions of human colonists move toward underground shelters that, according to official records, are merely geothermal residences. Dr. Okafor stands in the Aegis Control Center beneath Olympus Mons, surrounded by engineers monitoring the untested planetary defense system. Her hands tremble slightly as she authorizes final activation. Aegis generators at 93% capacity, reports her chief engineer. Theoretical models suggest 90% is sufficient, but this isn't a theoretical model anymore, Okafor finishes. This is reality. On her primary display, tactical feeds show the Coalition Fleet Commander broadcasting ultimatums across all frequencies. Humanity has violated containment protocols. Mars Colony represents an unacceptable concentration of human genetic potential. Surrender Earth's defensive capabilities, or witness necessary correction. Admiral Chen, coordinating from the dreadnought Retribution near Earth, responds on the same channel. Coalition Command, Mars is a civilian population center. Stand down immediately. Your civilians build weapons, comes the cold reply. Your children become warriors. The error of allowing human expansion must be corrected. The coalition vessels fire simultaneously, graviton beams converging on Mars, with enough force to shatter the planet into asteroid-sized fragments. Okafor closes her eyes. Aegis system, full activation. Across Mars, thousands of seemingly ordinary structures, communications towers, atmosphere processors, public monuments, transform as hidden components activate. A shimmering dome of energy materializes around the planet as the graviton beams strike. For 3 agonizing seconds, the shield fluctuates wildly. Engineers shout status reports as power systems surge beyond safety parameters. Then, remarkably, the shield stabilizes, absorbing the incoming energy and redirecting it through conduits built into the Martian crust. It's working, whispers Okafor. The theoretical model was correct. The coalition commander, observing from his flagship, orders a second volley. Again the planet killers fire, and again the Aegis system absorbs the attack, growing stronger with each assault. In the Concord emergency session, broadcast across all civilized space, species after species formally withdraws from the coalition. The footage of the attempted planetary destruction, coupled with testimony from orphanage survivors, creates a diplomatic avalanche. We did not authorize genocide, declares the Tellarian ambassador, its tentacled appendages gesturing in agitation. We supported containment, not extinction. As more species distance themselves from the coalition's actions, Dr. Okafor addresses the emergency session via quantum entanglement broadcast. You fear us because we're different, she tells the assembled representatives. Because we maintained our capacity for war while building peace. But consider what that capacity has created. The broadcast shows the Aegis system redirecting the coalition's weapon energy to power Martian cities and life support systems. We could have built annihilation devices, she continues. Instead, we built shields. We could have designed planet killers. Instead, we created technology that transforms destructive force into life-sustaining energy. On a dozen coalition worlds, civilian populations watch in shock as their own leaders attempt to destroy an inhabited planet. Protests erupt spontaneously, communication networks flooded with demands for accountability. A Vox general, commanding one of the planet killer vessels, suddenly breaks formation. This is not honorable combat, she broadcasts. These are not warriors we face, but protectors. I will not fire on those who shelter children. 3 more ships follow her lead, weapons powering down. The coalition formation begins to fragment as individual commanders question their orders. In the Mars colony, control center, Okafor watches the coalition fleet's disintegration with tears streaming down her face. We never wanted war, she whispers. We just wouldn't abandon the children, any children, of any species, to those who did. Across Mars, families emerge. From shelters to witness the shimmering Aegis shield protecting their world, humanity's ultimate expression of defensive rather than offensive power. Elena Reyes stands at the observation window, her left arm and eye gleaming with sophisticated synthetic replacements. Below, in the central habitat of New Horizons Station, children from dozens of species play together beneath holographic trees that simulate planetary environments from extinct and surviving worlds alike. A group of young Vox crystallines practice formation shifting alongside human children, learning rudimentary crystalline postures. Nearby, scythe orphans teach intricate, mandible-clicking communication patterns to fascinated human caretakers. In a corner, specially trained human medics help a gaseous Marin child practice controlled density shifts in their containment field, a developmental milestone for their species. The last of the Nurture Guard completes training today, says Admiral Chen, now clad in the formal uniform of the Orphanage security coordinator rather than military dress. His expression remains serious, but his eyes have softened over the past year. Elena watches as a mixed squad of human and alien soldiers practices emergency evacuation protocols on the training grounds. Each wears the distinctive emblem of the Nurture Guard, a simple hand cradling a flame. General Santos has done remarkable work, Elena observes, referring to the former Special Forces captain who now leads the multi-species defense force. They move like they've trained together for decades, not months. They have something better than experience, Chen replies. Shared purpose. Through the secondary observation window, Earth hangs against the blackness of space. Its night side glitters with city lights while daytime regions show vibrant blues and greens. The scars of ancient wars have long since healed, covered by carefully tended wilderness and prosperous human settlements. Still troubled by your decision? Chen asks, noting Elena's pensive expression as she watches the children below. I never wanted to create warriors, she admits, touching the synthetic interface where flesh meets technology along her temple. When I proposed the original orphanage, I imagined a symbol of peace, not the catalyst for war. You created protectors, Chen corrects gently. There's a difference. A chime sounds from Elena's communication implant. Director Reyes, says her assistant's voice, the guardianship delegation has arrived. In the secure conference chamber, representatives from 17 species, including reformed members of the former coalition, gather around a circular table. Dr. Okafor, her hair now streaked with gray, presents holographic data showing potential instabilities in lesser-known regions of the galaxy. The quantum fluctuations in the Carina arm match patterns we observed before the Vega collapse, she explains. We believe another civilization may be facing extinction-level events. The Marin ambassador, its gaseous form shimmering with decision patterns, responds first. The Guardianship Initiative stands ready to offer assistance, but we lack your experience with multi-species evacuation protocols. That's why we're here. Okafor says simply, to teach what we've learned. The gathering, once unimaginable in galactic politics, represents the new reality. Species that had feared humanity's warrior nature now actively seek its protective guidance. The Guardianship Initiative, formed in the aftermath of the war, identifies civilizational threats before they become crises, guided by humanity's expertise in preparation and protection. Elena slips away from the meeting, returning to the memorial garden. The vast circular space contains monuments to all who died in the orphanage attack, human and alien alike. At the center stands a sculpture she commissioned personally. Two hands of different species, one human, one crystalline, clasped together, protecting a small flame between them. She watches as a procession of alien children approaches the memorial. This ritual, created spontaneously by the orphans themselves, has become a daily occurrence. Each child places a small offering before the name of someone who died protecting them. A young Vox child, Kirksa, now showing new growth over once shattered facets, places a crystalline sculpture beside Elena's own memorial. Though she survived, the children insist on honoring the person she was before the attack, considering her rebirth as symbolic of the orphanage itself. What does your offering represent? Elena asks softly. Kirksa looks up, facets reflecting light and patterns indicating deep emotion. It's called the promise in my language. It means protection that never fails, even when broken. As Elena kneels beside the child, her communication implant chimes again. The alert bears the highest priority designation, a signal from the galaxy's edge. A previously unknown species has appeared beyond charted space, their ships damaged and overcrowded. Their first transmission, translated through adaptive algorithms, we flee the devouring. We seek sanctuary for our children. Without hesitation, Elena activates the orphanage protocol. Throughout human space, readiness alerts sound as vessels prepare for another rescue mission. This is why we remember how to fight, she tells Kirksa, whose crystalline form vibrates with excitement at the prospect of welcoming new orphans. This is why we never forgot. Together they watch as humanity's ships begin their journey outward, toward another civilization in need of protection. Guardians, not conquerors. Warriors, but only when necessary. Protectors, always.